Hello and welcome to Discovering Grayslake, unveiling the stories and people that make our town so unique. I'm your host, David Wool, and I'm thrilled to bring you this new podcast that explores fascinating stories and experiences of local business owners and community leaders, right here where we call home. Grayslake Rehabilitation Center is a community-based private practice physical therapy provider. Do you know they have 13 clinical providers with various levels of specialties, including orthopedics, sports, neurology, vestibular, geriatrics, pelvic floor, and aquatic? What? Did I just say they have a pool? Well, they do, and it's the largest indoor warm water pool in Lake County, featuring 2 underwater treadmills and swim currents. And recently added clinical treatment specialties, in layman's terms, shockwave. They have both radial and focus units that are the newest tool in regenerative medicine, available to everyone. They pride themselves on the most current and up-to-date specialized care to keep you moving. If you're looking for physical therapy, make sure to see our friends at Grayslake Rehabilitation. Wait. Grayslake has a record store? Are you ready to get into the groove? Well, I've got the perfect place for you with new and used vinyl, CDs, tapes, and more. At Andy's Records, they're not just about the hits. They're about the classics, the B-sides, the hidden gems, the vinyl vibes that make your heart skip a beat. For the record, Andy's is not your average music shop. It's a place where melodies meet memories. Andy's Records, because life sounds better with a little spin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Grayslake. I am sitting downtown on Center Street today. I am not at Agora, but Luke, thanks for supporting the show. So we're not at Agora today, but I am sitting at the Beer Bazaar with Nader. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm a little tired. For guys like me and you, we set this a little bit early, I think.
Just a tad bit.
Right. And Nader and I are spending Valentine's Day together recording, so this is sweet.
Yeah, I got myself cleaned up over at Wolf's Lodge.
Nice. Yeah, and there'll be no hand-holding during this as well, just so you know. Not with me, anyway. So, hey, thank you for having me in. I know I came in a long time ago, and I'm fascinated by the store, especially every time I walk by and see people coming in and out. So it's a really cool idea, first of all. It's very cool. So when did you, how long you been in the beer business? How about that?
So Beer Bazaar has always been part of the family business. We started out as Tap Out Liquors in Haynesville, right on 120 Haynesville Road. And that was about 2011. I started getting more involved closer to 2014, and that's when we rebranded to Beer Bazaar and focused more on just like craft beer as it was experiencing like a modern boom.
Big time. It's kind of fun when you're in a business like that, if you're doing a liquor store, and to see how trends go and kind of ride that wave.
Yeah.
So do you drink craft beer?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So is it your love for that? It's like good when your passion is inside your passion, right?
Absolutely. And it's also dangerous because your paycheck just goes back into the store.
Yeah, so what is a day like? You have to check inventory and sample stuff, so it's an important job.
Yeah, it is. I mean, people will test you. I feel like beer geeks will ask you, oh, have you had this? Or what do you think about this? And then it used to be the point where I was keeping up, but now there's just so much beer coming out and so many breweries that it's just impossible to keep up. But I do try a little variety of everything. I rotate through styles and try different things, and if I can't help someone directly, I can talk to them about how I like the brewery or what I think about them, and it's mostly positive.
Right, so it's kind of nice that you get to know the people, especially local breweries. Do you go out and sample stuff? Do you meet them? Do you know them in person?
Yeah. I mean, we've had a long-standing relationship with Josh over at Black Lung. We actually just brewed a collab together. We're releasing on Valentine's Day, so tonight.
Wow, great.
And I've known him for the longest time. I remember when he was homebrewing, and this collaboration we did was actually one of his homebrews that we originally decided to collaborate on, and it was such a big hit at the Lake County Beer Fest that we decided to do it again a few years later.
Okay, so that brew comes out actually today. So by the time this episode airs, it'll be out. So
it'll probably be gone.
What's the name of that? Oh, so it'll probably be gone. So it's just a.
I mean, we'll more than likely still have some bottles to go. I don't know what the keg situation will look like, but more than likely there'll probably be some left over. And the collaboration is called Pistachio Rose. It's a white stout with pistachios, rose petals, and honey.
Interesting.
We're trying to theme it like a baklava.
Interesting.
So it's like a baklava beer.
Wow. Okay, so that's local. Do you have any good stories of other breweries you've done around the United States or out of the country or anything like that?
So I constantly travel. Anytime, it's just funny. My wife always gives me shit about it, but every time we go out of town, like if I always check what breweries are in town so I can check them out, and it's all about like networking, meeting new people, like meeting people in the industry, and the industry's always been just such a great one to work in, so much camaraderie. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Every time I go out to Colorado, like the last couple times we drove through or drove to, I always try to stop by World Works. So I was a long time big fan of them. Been all around.
Wow! So every time you and your wife go out, it's R&D. So yeah.
Market research.
Research and development trip to Colorado again.
Oh, we fit other things in there.
Right. I mean, there's things along the way that you need to check out. So where does this? So I'm not a big craft beer drinker. So I've seen like a boom in things, but it's interesting that you have must seen this just go from interest to exploding, because there's connoisseurs of this, like people that are freaks about it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's actually slowing down a little bit. We've noticed in the last couple of years, but overall, yeah, it's still huge.
Okay, so when you have an idea to, so you and your brother have a collaboration, right? You guys work together?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this place here, how long have you been in this location?
This location, we've been here since August 22.
August of 22. All right. Scary moving in, starting a Beer Bazaar in downtown Grayslake?
Absolutely. It was very, anxiety provoking, but I was also very excited too. It's like it was like kind of like a big move for us, right? Like we loved being in Haynesville, but the location was just so awkward, hard to get in and out of the parking lot, and just we needed more foot traffic, and ultimately that's why we styled this store the way we did. Like one of the big things was like we had drafts over at Haynesville. But they were kind of tucked away, and people couldn't really see them. So half our customers didn't even know that we served beer to like drink while shopping. So one of the big things that we wanted to do here is just highlight that, like right up front when you walk inside, you see the bar. And I just want to throw in this. Not a lot of people know this, but the bar is made from reclaimed wood from the gelatin factory.
Is it really?
Yeah, we worked with Carpentry Connection, I believe, on that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
What a random fact. How do you arrange that? Is that an idea of yours, or did somebody come to you with that?
So yeah, we reached out to them, and they mentioned they had some extra reclaimed wood, and yeah, it
just all comes together.
It all comes together.
Yeah, I like how this town. I've heard so many stories, even from Patty Brown down at Romney Brown, going through stuff and they're repurposing stuff from old Grayslake into new businesses. And if nobody's been here at the Beer Bazaar, I'm going to let Nader talk more about the store, but when you walk in, to the right is the bar, if you haven't been here, and to the left, you can actually buy 6-packs, anything that you want to go, correct?
Correct, yeah. And we have more than beer. We've started expanding, diversifying what we carry. We do a really nice small catered spirit selection, as well as some wine bottles, seltzers, non-alcoholics have been really expanding lately. We've also carry a lot of gluten-free options too, and ciders and mead.
Interesting. Okay, so what side does better? Does the bar do better than the to-go side? No?
It depends. It's really wild. When one side is slower, the other side kind of just picks up and it kind of balances out. It's pretty interesting because there's some days where just like, okay, there's more to-go sales. And then there's some days where the bar is full and no one's on the retail side.
So the original concept to do this, was the concept actually what you have, or did it adapt because of the space, or this was the idea walking in?
It adapted. I mean, when we first opened it up, we were just going to do like just a store. You know, like we always had kind of in the back of our mind, like eventually maybe we'll do like draft pours, but it was store primarily. We kind of adapted with the space, but we also started like gauging that kind of interest in the old location.
Oh, okay. So you moved the store in we said 2022.
Yes.
2022. So I remember walking by here, and you guys had, I think, the paper up on the windows and everything. As you're getting everything, I'm like, what in the hell's going on in there? So open the door. How has business been received by the community?
Pretty positive. The community's been really supportive. We still have such a great following from our previous store, and they just love the new space. So it's mostly positive.
Yeah, I could see, because it's not like your average, like I didn't understand, unless you walk in here or you listen to this podcast or anything, I didn't understand exactly what it was. I didn't know what your hours were. I didn't know if this is a bar I can come sit and belly up and have drinks with my friends. But I think the answer is yes to most of it.
And we have pretty expensive hours. Well, we close a little earlier than most bars because we're trying to be more of like the place where you start your night, you know, not end it. But we're open earlier because of the retail side. So there's more like, but it also means that even when it's slower, you know, there's only one person here sometimes, so it's like they can manage the run back between both sides.
Okay, so we're going to switch gears from that, and I have some other questions I want to come back to, but let's talk about one of Grayslake's most popular events, should we call it, is the Beer Fest. Is that what we call it, Beer Fest?
The Grayslake Beer Fest. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a little bit involved in that.
Just a tad bit.
So since you've been in town, you've been a part of it, but this year is a big change for you, 2024. As we're recording this, I always like to say it's February 24 when we're recording this, so don't hold dates against it if you listen to this in 25 or 26. So this is what's going on right now. So what do you have to do with Beer Fest?
So I'm on the Beer Fest committee, and then I'm also accepted a position this year as a member of the board of directors in the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also the official liaison between the committee and the Chamber of Commerce.
We're taking a quick break just to say hello because everybody knows Nano, and Nano knows real estate. And actually, I believe that's the name of her Instagram page. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody in the market for a home, contact Nano from Baird & Warner. She's a Grayslake girl helping out Grayslake people. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
But what the hell does that mean? In layman's terms, so it sounds like you're doing everything. Or you get to boss people around a little bit.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not quite. More so with that latter part. I keep the chamber updated on how the Beer Fest is going, how the committee is going, and that's all it is. It's just a person communicating between both. Since I'm a director now.
Right, and you know a little bit about the beer business.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to be involved. I first started getting involved last year, so this is my second year being part of the Beer Fest committee. I host the ticket release party, which is going to be April 11th this year. It's a great time to come out, get the tickets at a discounted rate, and have a good time because we usually tap some rare beers and usually get some food on site, do some outdoor seating. If the weather permits. Right,
and this episode will be out before that, so anybody listening to this, when it comes out, April 11th, what time? Do you know?
I believe it's 5 to 8.
5 to 8, okay. So you can get discounted tickets, and Beer Fest, does it sell out?
In some years, and some years it hasn't. It varies year to year.
Right. Now, can you promise good weather this year in June? Isn't that the thing, man? One event could be... but we live in the Midwest, right?
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, no matter what date it is, like last year, it was starting off really bad with some drizzling, and then it cleared up really nicely day of. Like, it's wild. It can go either way, you know. Wait 15 minutes.
Exactly. Did we say that? So the Beer Fest itself will be held on June
15th.
June 15th. Release party. April 11th, Beer Fest, June 15th. Got that right?
Correct.
Right. Mark your calendars. Mark your calendars. So what happens at the pre? So we get to hang out and you get to drink and buy tickets for pre-partying to drink.
Yeah, and there's like giveaways. We usually get like a food truck or some sort of caterer to come out. Last year we had Hungry Food Truck, and they're awesome Hungarian food.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it kind of surprised a lot of people. It was just like a really kind of like not an eye opener, but it was just a unique experience that not everyone may have had.
Yeah, well, that's great. So are you enjoying your position on that, or is now like getting ready for this party, getting the tickets ready, being a part of a committee on the board of directors for that? It's got to be a lot of work too.
It's fun. I mean, so the big thing is like my primary role is just recruiting all the breweries, right? So I've created a lot of these relationships over the last 10 years. So honestly, it's relatively easy. I mean, you put a lot of hours in work, and then I usually tend to volunteer setting up the night before and the morning of. But it's all for a good cause too. It goes towards scholarships for Grayslake students.
Did not know that.
Not a lot of people do, and then it's definitely a charity event for sure.
Okay, it's a drink for the kids.
Drink for the kids.
Maybe that would be a better title than when we didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drink for the kids. So cool. And I've been since I've been doing this show, it's eye-opening for me all the stuff the chamber does to give back to the community, like that information I think we need to know. That may be all over the place, but it's just not obvious to everybody, so hopefully that makes it obvious. How has your experience been with community, working with the chamber? How easy is it to get along with everyone and make things happen?
Yeah, it's been amazingly easy. It's they're super supportive. They're really supportive of the store as well. I mean, it's just like we help each other out, and the networking is always awesome. You get to meet a lot of great people who have businesses in Grayslake.
Yeah, and it's crazy how many different kind of people we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like some of these meetups in I forget what they're called, but like the chamber mixers.
Yeah. They're interesting because I like people that you meet and you're like, you do what? Like the people from all different walks of life, that have all congregated to live here.
Yeah.
So how long have you lived in Grayslake?
About 10 years.
All right. Where did you grow up? Libertyville.
Yeah.
Most of your life in Libertyville?
Most of my life, yeah.
High school?
Yeah. So like we were in like unincorporated, so we went to high school at Warren.
Okay.
It was just like a weird
one on the boundaries, man.
Yeah.
Yep. So there, high school at Warren. Did you go to school after Warren?
Yeah. I took some classes at CLC, took care of my gen eds, and then I went down to Kansas in Lawrence for the University of Kansas.
That's awesome. My kid's at CLC, and I like when he listens to these and finds out that there's no shame, especially we have a wonderful, wonderful school here to go there for 2 years.
Yeah, some of the most like memorable teachers I've had were from CLC. It's just you get a really great experience over there.
Yeah, and another great reason to live in Grayslake because it's right there. My kid has to go like a quarter of a mile to the baseball field and a half a mile to the school. Mm-hmm. And I am not disappointed, because it's a little bit cheaper than Kansas.
Yeah, that's why you get at least as much done as possible at your community college, and then you transfer over.
Yeah. My son's like, do you think I should take summer classes? I'm like, take everything you can now. This is like pennies on the dollar. Get what you need done. Take something and maybe find some interest before you move on. All right. So what did you study in school?
Communications.
Really? Me too. People make fun of us. Yeah. So what did you want to do with your communications degree?
I wanted to be a journalist.
Really?
Yeah.
And my minor is in journalism, which, yeah. And what happened with that? You thought you wanted to be a journalist, or you did want to be a journalist?
I did want to be a journalist. I guess a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just there's a lot going on in the journalism world. Like that is a little bit in decline in terms of just like the print paper and whatnot. It's a tougher and tougher market, and what I noticed was it was very saturated and very timely, and it's a tough industry to be in.
Very tough. everybody said when you graduate from doing something like that, you better have a good suitcase and be willing to travel and work late and for pennies, right? Because it's such an oversaturated field.
Yeah, absolutely.
But such an important field as well. Okay, so you get out of college. What's your first job? Were you drinking in college to prepare for this? Here?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I started drinking craft beer as soon as I turned 21. I'd go to the Firkin in Lerbyville all the time, and back then, they were like one of the only places you could find like awesome Belgian imports or just super great like craft beers that like you don't really find anywhere else. So like that's kind of where I really started developing my palate for it and enjoying it, and just my friends would invite me to go out there, and then I slowly got more and more into it. So yeah, I was drinking craft beer in college.
That's actually great. So then you turned that into, now you and your brother, I know we talked about working together, so there's a store also in Mundelein, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So does he get into it more? Do you guys do it together? How does that all work out?
Yeah, we do it together. He's definitely been focusing more on bourbon as of late. So one really cool thing is we'll sometimes go together down to Kentucky and do a barrel pick, and that's when you go to a distillery and pick one specific barrel. So they'll let you taste out 8 different barrels, usually 6 to 8, and you pretty much all have to vote as like whoever's tasting them, what's your favorite. So there's times where it's unanimous, and then sometimes there's like, no, I like this one better. What about this one? I like the tasting notes. But yeah, it's such a great experience because it's like such a unique experience, and that bottle is pretty much like, I don't know, like a whale. Like it's rare because it's just like all that liquid is going to come from one barrel, so it's going to be infinitely unique compared to like some other barrels.
How fun is that? That's great. I'm sure that's a fun trip as well.
Oh yeah.
and actually getting down to choose it. So he's leaning into and exploring a lot more bourbon stuff now.
Yeah. We'll so a lot of picks like I'll start carrying here too, just to support, and also if I definitely highlight them if I've been involved in the process.
Nice. Okay, so when you were working there, like you guys were working together in Mundelein then, or no, you had your place in call it Haynesville, right?
Haynesville, yeah.
120. Yeah, that spot that you were in, you'd think it would be great, but the in and out of that parking sucked.
We got a lot of people seeing our store like while they're stuck in traffic.
We just couldn't pull in.
Exactly.
Wait, is that the one that's by the subway and everything in there?
Yep.
I've frequented your store because I would get a sandwich and I go next door and just get some beer from you.
Oh.
If I was turning right out of there, but if you have to turn left out of there, it's just not happening.
Not happening.
Right.
That intersection was just notorious for accidents. Like
you can sit and look out the window and watch accidents happen?
Once a week, guaranteed, at least.
Just wait for hear the crash and walk out and go.
Yeah, we've seen some really bad ones over the years.
Wow.
Like cars like completely flipped.
Really? That's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Okay, so this place, so my perception, because I see some other things that you do, is when I come down here, is you guys host other little events. It really seems like a close-knit, like, great place to gather.
Yeah.
You're doing some different stuff.
So the weekly ones we do Tuesday trivia, and we start collaborating with Andy's Records, also in Grayslake.
Love Nick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andy's Records.
Shout out. And we do a vinyl Sunday, and then once a month he'll actually come out and DJ and kind of like push his store and like talk about it, his experiences. And then the other 3 Sundays a month, we just have our staff spin records. We start doing promotions. We're like, just for the month of February, we're doing like, if you bring in a record, you get like, with some stipulations, of course, and limitations, you get a 5-ounce pour for a penny.
Cool. That's cool. Just a different idea to do stuff.
Yeah, we're always trying new things here. Like today, for Valentine's Day, instead of going the traditional route, we're doing speed friending.
I heard that. Okay, that's cool.
That was my wife's idea. She's been in the last year, she's been like really helping like push out events and like get some more ideas and that's the thing. I love trying new things, seeing what works, what sticks. Sometimes it doesn't work out. We move to the next thing.
Speed friending. Maybe I'm going to come to speed friending tonight. I think it'd be fun. I'll be the annoying guy. But what a good thing for people that they're not going on Valentine's Day dates, and you never know.
Yeah,
that's great. Okay, but with your trivia, the one thing I've heard about your trivia, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I claim to know nothing about nothing. I've seen people like preparing or getting ready because you'll but it's like themed trivia. It'll be like a friends trivia night or what are the other things you do?
So we rotate. Like 1 week we'll do a general trivia, and then it has like 6 different topics that are randomly picked. Like we can capitals, countries or food or like just different genres or topics within the general topics. And then we switch to more of a theme topic, which is kind of like the Friends,
The Office.
The Office. We did The Office. We did South Park. We did How I Met Your Mother. That one was pretty popular. Upcoming, we have Game of Thrones at the end of the month. And then we're probably going to do Harry Potter at some point.
That's
because
awesome.
That always brings people in. And
Okay, so who comes up with these ideas? Is it you and your wife?
Me and my wife.
Okay,
my
who
wife
puts them together?
My wife.
Really?
She hosts trivia every Tuesday.
What is your wife's name?
Samantha.
Samantha. Shout out to Samantha for being creative and doing something fun.
Yeah, we were looking at like pricing for getting someone out here, and it's just crazy. And we're still like a really small business, and we have limited seating in terms of like capacity. So some of them are asking up to like $190 a week. So it's just not viable
for a business this size.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. I mean, and do you guys serve food here as well?
We do not. No.
No food. So I mean, for bringing in revenue, if this many people are coming in to eat and drink, it could be could change things. But it's great. What a cool thing. And she must be a pretty creative lady.
Definitely.
Yeah. So coming up with ideas like that, I think, is really cool to bring other ways to bring community together, and that's the kind of things that I really like. To see something to have. First of all, you're a unique business with throwing unique events. It brings so you must have total regulars here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We see people weekly, sometimes twice a week.
Really? A lot of people come and check in like, hey, what do you got new?
What do you got new? And then we usually leave it right by the register. Everything that came in this week, we leave right by the register so it's easier. And then we try to clear out as much of that so it's less work when we put it on the shelves.
Yeah.
Or in the cooler.
Yeah, because how do you decide what inventory wise? You have to probably be pretty selective on what you have, right?
Yeah, there's just so much out there. It's just gauging my audience and figuring out what sells. And if it's something that like I can get behind but maybe isn't a big seller, I try to find other ways to like push it, like in terms of like, oh, maybe I'll bring a keg on draft, and then once people actually try it, it usually promotes that brewery's beer.
Yeah. Are most of the things here local?
A good chunk, yeah.
Because that's a kind of a nice thing too, to support local breweries. And you have some of the coolest signs and everything from around here. This must have been really fun because I know you geek out on beer too.
Yeah, definitely.
But the names of the beers, I think last time I was here, I'm like, hey, I want a job naming these things. So there's cool signs, and if you haven't been here, the decor to the selection of everything, just come in and check it out and walk around. It's really cool because you guys have something for everybody too. I mean, you even have some wine stuff too if you're not into beer.
And absolutely, one thing I definitely want to highlight is not a lot of people, not a lot of stores do this, and not a lot of people know. We have everything in terms of beer singled out by bottle or can. So like we really encourage the mix your own 6-packs, and then you even get $1 off for mixing your 6-pack. And we've seen really good success with it. We started that in Haynesville, and then it's just something we kept running with here. And what really, like the big, alluring aspect of it is people love it because, they buy a beer, they take it, like normally they, buy a 4-pack if they're at like another store, take it home, they try it, and they're like, oh, I hate this beer. And then you're stuck with 3 more beers.
Right.
So like we kind of encourage people to try it. Therefore, it's like less of a commitment. And then you're, leaving happier because you're not stuck with beer you don't like.
Right. Oh, I would totally want to do that because I'm like, there's stuff I can't stand. And when you open it, we're just with a buddy somewhere and we opened a beer and I'm like, I had a commitment to drink the whole can now and I didn't want anything to do with it. Imagine if you had a 6-pack of it.
Yeah.
What was Brendan Rafferty trying to say in here when we were doing the mix match 6-pack?
Mix match 6-pack.
Mix match 6-pack. Like what an average mismatched 6-pack like cost? What could people expect for that? Like an average around?
It varies. I'd say about 15.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Well, the thing is, so most mix match 6-packs.
We're gonna say that as many times as we can, man.
Most stores that do mix match 6-packs usually put in like their like 6-pack beers, which are usually a lower price point in their mix match 6-packs. We single out everything. So there's 16-ounce beers in there. There's really expensive barrel-aged beers. So the mix-match 6-pack all varies based on like what you put in it. So like you can get like a mix-match
6-pack.
Mix-match 6-pack.
Just go with it. It's good.
Mix sixer. You can get a mix sixer all the way up to like, I don't know, $40, $50 sometimes if you're putting in really expensive beers. So, but you can also get one as low as $10 to $15.
That's cool. And a little bit of something for everybody.
Exactly.
I don't like really heavy beers. I like light ones as much as I can. So if I come in here and I want to start trying some new beers, and from what I tell you what I like, you guys help. You can help guide me in the right direction to pick something that would be up my alley.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, that's nice to have like a store with actually personal attention to help you find something. And I'm sure that you guys have a selection that most liquor stores probably don't have.
Yeah, we get compliments about it all the time. Like we get, not only do we carry like more obscure local breweries that like don't get that much distribution out here, but we also carry some crazy rare stuff from out of state too. Like we carry a little bit of everything.
That's cool. And I guess when I find stores fascinating when you can actually really specialize in something. So I mean, everybody can go to the giant liquor store that has everything they have, but we're a hometown, specializing in craft beers, basically, right?
Yeah.
And bringing community together with a space together, which is awesome. That's what this town is actually about, which is very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not sure how many things you've listened to, or I should say, I should put you on the spot. How many shows have you listened to, Nader? Start with a Z, end with an O.
Yeah.
Even better. Now he's victim to, hey, you're a busy guy. Things happen. So This is something we call the Grayslake hot seat. So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. You answer as fast as you can. You can't pass.
Okay.
It's time for the Grayslake hot seat. Hey, we'd like to thank our friends at Barbecue Productions Third Lake, my buddy Chris Schoenberger for sponsoring the Grayslake hot seat. So sit back, relax, and let's learn some more about our guests. Once again, thank you to Barbecue Productions. Or I'll edit in different things later to make you sound like you made a different answer. All right. So Grayslake hot seat with Nader. If you had to have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh. Regeneration. Kind of like Wolverine.
First one I heard that. Regeneration. Love it. You should see how fucking serious he is right now. I love it. It's great.
Sorry, I'm a comic book nerd too.
I kind of gathered that from you, and that's not nerdy, by the way. Well, they can call us nerd, but whatever. Tell me a place you'd like to travel that you've never been.
Ooh. I'd say my top two would probably be Ireland or Japan.
Beautiful. What was the first car you ever had?
A Geo Metro.
That's pimping, man. How did you keep the ladies away?
There's this funny story that we once took it to one of the McDonald's car shows. They used to do it in Gurnee, and like we popped the hood, and me and my buddies just stood out there when we were 18.
I love it.
Everyone was just like cracking up.
That is what color was it?
Red.
Nice. Did that car have a nickname by any chance?
Oh man,
it didn't really need one, probably.
No, I don't think we had a nickname.
Would the 12-year-old version of yourself think you're cool?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Did you ever expect that you're going to be like an entrepreneur and do stuff? I mean, you start with passions to do things. Did you ever see yourself where you are today?
Honestly, not really. No, I didn't. Initially, when I went to college, yeah, like I had no idea I'd end up, working with a family business, but I love it.
It's kind of cool. I like when things present themselves and you roll with it and you just end up like kind of look around one day, and I'm sure you come into this place and look around and smile and be like, my place, this is great.
And I can honestly say I like what I do, and that's honestly the most important thing. Like, right?
Right, and great advice to kids. Yeah, do what you love as long as you possibly can, and hopefully the money will follow.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And sometimes it takes a while. Don't give up, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Have you ever ate a roller dog from a gas station?
Yes. Yeah. I actually ran a gas station for a couple years immediately after college, because it was one of my dad's gas stations. Unfortunately, it went out of business, but don't blame me.
No. Okay, so some people listen and they're like, no. Well, how long are those roller dogs on there? They're like, no, I'd never touch them. But actually, there's some good stuff on there. I think people should take my advice.
I mean, when you work there, when you put them on there, and I was very adamant about cleaning those rollers. Yeah. Very adamant.
Yeah, it's quite fun to clean too. I think I'm going to get a roller dog and just bring it, a roller dog station, and just bring it down for one of these festivals. Maybe could we bring a roller dog? Can we bring food in here? Can we bring a roller dog station in here?
Absolutely. Why not?
Good. I'm going to talk to some. We're going to make that happen. We'll have roller dog night. What's your middle name?
Bassam.
Bassam.
Yeah, it's my father's first name.
Very cool. Did you play a sport in high school or in a group or club?
Yes, I did Taekwondo, and then I was also on the tennis team.
Those are interesting things. Well, both take flexibility,
yeah,
and concentration. And the tennis team, were you a good tennis player?
By the end of the first year, I was maybe better than the worst player.
Okay, right. Well, it's a good time to be on. I always say I'm number one if you turned it upside down.
Yeah, I think the biggest struggle was, I've been always kind of like out of shape in high school, so like it was just the endurance and running across the field or not.
Yeah, court. It's a tough sport.
Yeah,
it actually is. Have you ever broken a bone?
No, can't say I have.
Right. If you had to have a theme party at your house, you and your wife have a theme party there, what would it be?
Ooh, theme party.
Mm-hmm.
What I've always wanted to do is kind of like a 1950s kind of theme party, or maybe even 1920s, something like nostalgic retro.
I better be invited. 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you? This is where the honesty part comes in, Nader. Just so
6 or 7?
All right, that's fair enough. As long as you park in the back in your Metro, you're not out in front.
I don't have the Metro anymore. I mean, I would love it.
I'm never going to look at you and not picture the Geo Metro with you like hanging out by the side with the hood up.
Man, it would shake like when we went on the highway. If we were went higher than like 60 miles per hour, it would just start shaking.
And if anybody's listening that doesn't know what a Geo Metro is, Google that up right now.
Most fuel economy car ever.
Right. Yes, I have some other names for it too. I know this is probably a very easy question for you, and obvious, but what's your favorite Grayslake event?
Beer Fest.
Right, exactly. Shout out to the Beer Fest pre-ticket sales party on the 11th of April, 2024. And then mark your calendars for June the 15th of 2024. So Nader walks in to a bar, slow motion in a movie, and there's a theme song playing behind you. What's your kind of walk-up song, your theme song?
A theme song walking up to a bar?
Or wherever. You walk into
or like
wherever.
If I had okay.
Yeah, you'd say your walk-up song.
Man.
You seem like a music guy to me.
I like my music, but I don't know what I would walk out to. That's...
Yeah. It's a tough question. Actually, that's a Mike Pruitt question that he added when I was with Rafferty, and he texted over to me, and I went, that's awesome. But it actually needs some time to think about.
Yeah. What did he answer?
Brendan? What did Brendan answer? Smoke 2 joints.
Checks out.
I'm glad that you asked me. We'd like to keep this family friendly. Yeah, but I don't think I think he was right on it, and he knew right away. What was your first concert you've ever attended?
First concert I ever attended. Ooh, yeah. Lincoln Park with Hoobastank, Story of the Year, and POD.
Wow. glad that you remember exactly. You have a smile on your face. It must have been awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, some people, when you ask them their favorite, their concerts, some have just awesome ones, and some's like, yeah, I ruined it on that. But you never know. My first one I went to, because I've never I went to Men at Work, and I would never forget my dad saying the opening band. He's like, "Who's this opening band?" I think they're called Inks. I'm like, "Oh yeah, NXS is opening for Men at Work." So think about how that turned out for everybody. Obviously, Australian bands too. Hey bartender, can I have a
beer?
What kind of beer are you gonna?
Well, actually, no, I wouldn't say that because I first, scan the draft list and.
Do you drink? So everywhere you go, do you drink anything beside beer?
Yeah, I drink whiskey. I like to sip on a rum, but not a lot of places have like a good sipping rum on their selection. But yeah, usually, if I don't find a beer I like, I'll usually just go with bourbon.
Good. Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, Star Wars.
Do you have a pet peeve?
I have a few.
I have like 10 of them. Give me one of your pet peeves.
The one that comes to mind right away is just like not returning the cart in the grocery store. It's like, come on, just put it in the.
I have a TikTok channel called "Don't Be an Asshole," and that's one of the things. The people that move it like 3 feet away from it too, not even leaving it out in the middle of nowhere. You got this far, put it in the cart thing, right?
Exactly, and then it's just like you're just leaving it out there, and then on a windy day it blows in and hits someone else's car. Like, it's just, common decency.
Right, exactly. And it sounds so simple, but we're both passionate about that as well. Which is
started Grayslake Return Your Carts
Coalition. We can train people. We can bring them in here. We can get a couple cards, show them how it's done.
That's what you do.
Hey, I said if you want to explain stuff to people, you have to talk to them like they're a child, and you have to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and sometimes show them. Your favorite sports team?
Ooh, which sport?
Any.
So of course I love my Jayhawks. Aside from that, I support all the Chicago teams. I've never been too big of a sports person, I'll be honest. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl.
As I would say, we got work to do, man. What are you gonna do watching that? Last show you binge watched?
Last show that I binge watched.
I'm interested to hear this one from you.
Show that I binge watched.
Or do you have something on your list that you want to watch?
I just started. There's I forget the name because I literally just watched the pilot like a couple nights ago, and it was it's Alan Tudyk's new show where he's an alien.
Yes, I saw the trailer thing for it, but I don't know the name of it.
Something alien. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I need to give it a couple more episodes, but it might have some binge potential.
Nice. Have you ever won an award?
Oh, nothing worth mentioning. See, honor roll at CLC.
Hey, that's something you said about that.
7th place in Woodland Middle School Chess Club.
Wow. Okay, 7th place. That's good. How about the Pinewood Derby? Did you ever win the Pinewood Derby? I think the Cub Scout Pinewood Derby. I think I took 4th place. Yeah, these are things you should have that as stickers on your door. 7th place chess club, junior chess club winner.
Yeah,
right. Love it. Tell me about the second time you got arrested.
I've never been arrested.
Gosh, see, there's only 2 people that have actually been like, oh, okay, and then they tell me. We have one of those episodes coming up. It's pretty interesting.
Ooh,
yeah. Name a celebrity you've met.
Pitbull.
Nice. What's the last thing you bought on Amazon?
Ooh, it's been a while since we actually started moving away from Amazon just because we want to try to support more brick and mortar.
Amen.
But it was probably supplies for the store or something.
Nice. We're going to end with this one. On a more serious note, what do you wish that you had learned sooner in your life?
I'd say, it's definitely something I wish I learned sooner. It's just like being okay with, whatever life throws at you. right? Like it's not what you expect. It's not, you know, like you don't have, may not end up doing what you wanted to do, but roll with it.
Yeah, and knowing that, you know, sometimes life changes and you're supposed to end up somewhere else and you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. As my buddy Luca DeGora would say, every kick in the ass just propels you forward too, which is an interesting thing because you don't think that at the time when things happen.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about the future of Beer Bazaar. Do you have any big plans? You have like what do you plan on doing here? Is that rolling okay? But any other grander things that you want to do?
I mean, I'm trying to think. So we may start doing bingo. We just got to look at availability. That would probably be Mondays. We're bounced the idea of doing open mic night, but we'd have to see how that goes.
Sure.
The other big thing is like we're working on getting certified to do like frozen pizzas at night, kind of just like as an added alternative.
Sure.
But I do want to say though, even if we did that, we still welcome food from outside. We love it when our customers, support the other businesses on the strip.
Yeah, so it's cool. So I can get a carry out from anywhere and sit here and have your beer and their food.
Yep.
That's fantastic. I do love the camaraderie, especially on the street. Let's face it, living in Grayslake, you have a choice of where you're going to drink and where you're going to eat. And I feel like the camaraderie between everybody supports each other. I mean, for the most part, I'm sure there's somebody that doesn't, but for the most part, it's a friendly thing. How did you get involved with? I find it fascinating with your job at the chamber too. So you obviously joined the chamber, and did they rope you into that to get involved that deeply, or is that something that you went after?
So I went after the committee, being the committee, and I think being as one of the requirements for being on the board of directors was to be part of the committee. So I think they saw that I was already putting the work in, and they were really happy with what I did with the Beer Fest last year in terms of so just an example, the year before they needed 60 volunteers, I think they were saying. Last year they only needed 10 because of how many brewery reps I actually came out to rep themselves.
That's clever planning, man. That's really clever planning.
And because you're relying less on volunteers, and here's the big thing about the beer. What I've noticed at going to Beer Fest, right? People want to talk to someone that reps that beer. If they have questions, they want to ask them. They want to know more about the beer they're pouring, not just oh yeah, here, this is fruited, I think.
Right. Yeah, I don't want they hire a couple cute girls to come out and pour beer. I want to talk to the guy that's behind it. And so cool at those things too. I love the passion behind those people. It's amazing to hear how they came up with it, what they're doing, and they're without better words geeking out on on what they're excited about.
Absolutely.
So besides this, you've obviously. So is it research and development also for you to travel around and go to beer fests?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's countless times where I've exchanged cards with other breweries that were either out of the market or were on the process of entering the market or blowing up in terms of just getting popular. And then later I utilize those connections to bring the beer into the store or plan some sort of event around it.
So you having a store here, the people that actually know where you're at when they're doing, they have their beer and there's a beer fest, people come to you specifically and say, hey man, or how does someone say, Nader, I want to get my beer into your store. How does somebody go about that? So
the most common way is usually there'll be a sales representative from that brewery or sometimes from the distributor that distributes that beer. And they will come by, drop off samples, drop off their card, kind of talk a little bit, and I'll eventually try them. If it's a beer or brewery that I'm already familiar with and it's one that I can get behind, I'll bring them in right away. If it's one where I'm going to take home those samples and try them, okay, I can get behind this, and I will usually. I definitely like to support the local ones, and I usually try to give them at least a few chances, more than some big out of state.
Sure. And you seem like a really nice guy, and I'm sure it's hard to have somebody come in that's passionate about whatever. If you have to tell them no, like, it's probably not fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult situation. But I mean, you always handle it with ease and
handle everything
compassion.
with grace, right, and tell them that. But maybe those are smaller breweries that need to have the good hard fast, because you can't have no or yes from everybody, because then you have to work harder. And maybe it's just not your style. Maybe it'll fit in with another store, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So, what is the percentage of people that you go after, the people that come to you? Ooh. Like, do you know stuff like, I gotta have that one?
Yeah, there are breweries like that where I'm like, I can't wait till we can start carrying this beer. But there's a lot of times they're just limited by distribution. One of the big ones. Sorry, I don't know the percentage off the top. But the reps hit the streets pretty hard, so like they'll usually come by because they know Beer Bazaar is the spot in Lake County.
Right.
But I just wanted to show an example. There's a brewery called Brothership in Mokina. They're an awesome brewery. They make some great, fantastic beer. They don't distribute all the way up here. They distribute up to the city kind of lines, and then that's it. So I actually drive down to Mokina once or twice a month. That's like a 3 to 4 hour round trip sometimes, just to carry their beer, just to bring it in, and just to have it as an option so people can come here and expect it.
That's cool. Yeah, hey, that's some other work for your patrons here too, to make sure that you have it. So on like social media and things like that, do you like announce when you're getting like a new beer? Is that like a big deal? Like people watch that and go, "Oh crap!"
Oh yeah. We definitely have a following there where like they'll see what we bring in throughout the week, and then they'll pick a day to come in, and then just like go through the list and be like, "Oh, I'll have that, one of those," and then just like do like a full case of mixed 6-packs, pretty much.
Wow. Yeah, what a fascinating thing. It's like, I'm not like a craft beer guy, but I can see, and I've been in here and I see the people walk in and they're like, it's a really interesting thing to watch. I'm sure you've learned so much since you opened the doors here too.
Oh yeah, compared to like what I knew back then, like I've come so far, and there's still so much to learn. It's just an ever evolving industry, because like new styles are always being made or like kind of like developed. So there's always something new.
Right. Let's end this. What's your favorite thing as we wrap up? Tell me your favorite thing about living and having a business in Grayslake.
Living and having a business in Grayslake, just being more involved with the community. I mean, when I was living in Grayslake, I was living in Grayslake, right? So that's all it was. As soon as I moved my business to Grayslake, I feel like I've just had so much more connections with the community and like other business owners, and it's just a great feeling. Like I feel like I've started investing more into Grayslake once I opened a business in Grayslake.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very unique place to be, with a lot of like-minded people and unlike-minded people, but it's fun to see what happens, and I'm very proud of our chamber for doing a great job, and all the organizations actually that I've got to learn about that I didn't even know existed, but to see people come together. So we definitely want people to shop local. So you're excellent addition to the variety of things that we have here. So,
thank you.
Yeah. So okay. So before we sign up, anything else anybody needs to know? I'm sure we could talk for days about every beer that you have here, but anything you want the community to know about, anything you're involved with, or I mean, obviously the party coming up, to buy the pre-tickets, which is huge.
Oh, there's one other thing. We're actually working with the Grayslake Arts Alliance. So that by this time the episode airs, this will already be over, but the next one will probably be lined up. So every 2 months we're going to rotate a featured artist of the month. And in reality, it's 2 months, but it just rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah. Right.
And so the upcoming one is there's going to be like a little demo, color pencil demo of some artwork. Yeah. And there's going to be like a meet and greet. So be on the lookout for that, I'd say. And it's going to be like every 2 months.
That's awesome, because looking over on your wall here, I see the art that's up there.
Yep.
Wow. I'm assuming that was your idea, not your wife's.
Actually, I got to give him credit. That was one of my employees' ideas.
Really?
Yeah.
Hats off to him.
Yeah,
Who's
Jack.
Jack.
He's always been pretty involved with the community, and he's the one who kind of like pushed us both to like do this idea.
That's cool. So how many employees do you have here?
3.
3. And they're here all the time? Are you behind the bar most of the time, or who's behind the bar most of the time?
I'm in here 11 to 4 almost every day. But then I usually either stick around later, or like whenever we're doing events, I usually come back for those because I just want to be on hand.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's great. Well, cool. Well, hey, I appreciate your time being on here today. I hope that I wish you the best and success for everything. I'm interested to see what kind of new events you're going to throw here, and if you do a Monday bingo, and I'm coming. I like Monday nights.
We'll see you there.
It's fun to come out. And Grayslake, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Discovering Grayslake. So wherever you guys are on, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on Apple, whether you're on YouTube, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to your podcast at, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Reminding everybody to shop local. If you haven't been to the Beer Bazaar, come down and check it out. Just come in and say hello to Nader. And as I always end with, too, make sure that you never know what people are going through, folks. So one random act of kindness to somebody, whether it's just giving somebody a smile, opening a door, helping somebody, or putting your cart away in the cart corral. Those things will make people happy, because the people are working at the grocery store. They need to do that too. But just the point of this is spread kindness. Kindness spreads like wildfire. So I think listening to the show, supporting the businesses that are on here, and treating our neighbors as friends and being kind to them builds better community. So thank you, Grayslake, again. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next Tuesday.